Level up loading. Fight feelings, face facts. Hi everybody, welcome back to Level Up Loading, Fight Feelings, Face Facts with yours truly, Shay Shay. I am stopping in real quick for an episode that was on my heart, I guess you could say. Of course, I think that depending on when you're listening to this, of course, obviously this recording and this video will live on and on, but right now the date is May 29th, 2022, and unfortunately this week the United States of America experienced a huge tragedy. Like I really am trying to be optimistic and trying to be what I don't even know the words to use, but we experienced a school shooting not maybe like a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, and 19 children, if I'm not mistaken, on the count. Let me double check just to make sure. Yeah, so far from what the news has released, the total dead is 21. So 19 children and 2 adults, faculty of the school. And it's like, you think about how sick this world is, and you think about, like, myself personally, I'm not a mother, and I can never ever sit here and say that I know what it feels like to have to try to send your children to school away from you while you're at work or while you're handling business, and have this type of news happen sporadically, randomly. No, at least to my knowledge, there's no threats, there's no real ramifications or reasons of why this happened, and it's just terrifying. I can't even imagine what parents are going through. And I say parents because there's mothers, there's fathers, there's guardians that are scared to send their children to school. And it's just, to me, it's terrifying to think about. I mean, even myself personally, like this week at work, and this might be just paranoia, but I feel like we have a reason sometimes to be slightly paranoid. I was at work and I was on the elevator with this guy, and he did not look familiar. He did not look like he belonged there. But I mean, who the hell am I to say who looks like they belong there? I work in a corporate office, so people are usually pretty business casual. They're usually, even our techs, like, even though they're techs in the field, they still have to have a certain level of presentability. They have branded gear that identifies them as an employee of our company, and this guy, he did not have that. We do have, but the thing is that we do have one other, it's our building, and what we rent out 1 floor of our facility because we're not using it yet. We built the building and kind of wanted room for us to grow because the company grows so fast. But in the meantime, in between time, while we're waiting for the growth to occur, why not make money off of it? So they rent out 1 floor of our building structure. And so I don't really know the dress code of the people on the other company, but I've seen and met a few of them, and I'm pretty sure their work model is pretty similar to ours. But also, once again, I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know who this person was, who they were going to meet, whatever the case may be. But they basically were on the elevator with me, and they were a little bit awkward. I don't know how to explain it. I'm a very discerning person. The one thing about me, if you know me for real in real life, I'm very discerning. So I trust my instincts on a lot of things, but I also know that other factors can play a part in how you think about things. And so neither here nor there. I'm always very friendly, especially at work, because it just helps me in my mood. Being, I don't want to say overly friendly, but just being friendly and being kind and making people smile and not just walking around mean mugging all day helps my day be a lot more productive, helps my mood, my spirit. So that's me. So I'll get on the elevator. Hey, how you doing? Happy Friday. I don't even know if it was Friday, but this is my typical spiel. Happy Friday. How you doing? You ready for this 3-day weekend? Whatever. He's kind of standoffish, which I'm like, okay, whatever. You ain't gotta talk to me, because I really don't want to talk to you. I was just trying to make a conversation. And but he was speaking to me, but he just wasn't very engaging. I don't know if there was a language barrier. There seemed like there could possibly have been, because I kind of detected a small bit of accent, but once again, that's not my forte. That's not my area of expertise. I really don't care. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care about your accent. Like, if I see you, I'm going to try to speak to you. If we can connect, we can. If we can't, okay, keep it moving. Neither here nor there. I don't know, but when I got off the elevator, I had the strongest fear. Like, y'all, this is all paranoia. I'm 1000% sure, because I'm here telling you guys this, but I had the randomest and strongest fear in the world that this man was going to just, while I was leaving out the elevator, because he was going up to the other floor, that he was going to shoot me in my back. This is like the most randomest fear, and I have not had this type of post-traumatic fear since 9/11. I used to be, that was a different story. I was much younger then as well, but I haven't really felt that way or that paranoid in spaces like that. Like, I'm always vigilant. I'm from Chicago. I'm always vigilant. I'm always watching everything, because I'm from a city where things happen really quickly. Things can turn bad really quickly. Situations can escalate very quickly. So I am always on my P's and Q's regardless. But I will say that moving to Tennessee has allowed me to kind of let some of that guard down to a certain extent, and I love that for me. But this recent attack just kind of heightened my senses more, and I was getting off the elevator and I was like turning around at the same time. Like, I'm getting off the elevator and I'm turning around just to watch him, because I'm like, he's pretending to be somewhat nice. I don't know, it was just something about the interaction, y'all. I can't really explain it. If you have discernment, you have discernment. But I just hope that maybe me being kind and speaking to him and being nice might have changed whatever his motive was. Or maybe he didn't have a motive. I pray to God he didn't have a motive, and maybe he just was a visitor of one of the people who worked there, and he just looked a little rough. Who knows? Like, it's so sad that we have to try to categorize people, and we have to try to almost profile people, which is not our job, which is so unfair, because I don't want anybody to sit there and judge me and say, oh, look at her, da, 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 da. I don't want that. So I don't want to do that either. And like I said, this person was just a person. Like, honestly, I can't even tell you what his nationality was. I just knew that I detected an accent, but like, if he hadn't spoke, I would have thought I would have assumed he was an American white male. Let's say that. And so just that paranoia that comes after such a heinous crime and a terrorist attack is ridiculous. But I came here to talk about a subject that I have been wanting to talk about, that was on my list of things to talk about this week, and then it was kind of like, how entitled. So what I want to talk about is the old saying. And if you're a black person, especially living in America, especially if you have any type of southern roots, whatever, I'm not really sure about other cultures, so I don't know how to put that part into words, but I will say, if you are a black person, more than likely you've heard an elder of some sort say something like, just keep living. Just keep living. Like, you know how we're teenagers, you know, we're young teenagers and we think we've had it all figured out. You think, oh, my parents are so stupid, they don't know what they're talking about. My grandmama, the world's so different from what they had when they were, you know, this age. They dumb. And then as you, of course, mature and grow and find yourself and find out how the world really works, it's like you start to see and you start to understand what they were saying. And just keep living. Like, I find myself as a 34-year-old woman, I've had my phase of that, but I've always been a sponge. Like, I'm knowledge, information, experiences that I can avoid. That's my thing. Love that for me. But I will say that I have had my times where I was very much like, that's the old school way, grow up. I still feel that way to this day. Like, there's some things that are just old school and they're just not, they don't apply anymore. We have to figure out the new way. We can't just do everything the old way. However, when my mom, aunts, grandmas, and grandpas, and all of the cousins and stuff used to tell me just keep living, they were right. I would say 97.12 97.12 of the stuff, like, I know that's not real, y'all, I'm being sarcastic. 98%, let me just make your plain so people don't think I'm dumb. 98% of the stuff that has happened and is happening now has happened before. Like, the more things change, the more they say the same. The stuff that's occurring now has happened before, but in different ways. And so, for myself personally, I find myself, I don't want to say mentoring, but, like, you know, speaking with younger girls and meeting younger girls, and they're going through stuff that I went through when I was that age. And they think they have it all figured out. I have younger cousins, I have a younger sister, I have younger friends. Well, yeah, I do. I have younger friends, and, you know, they think they have it figured out. And it's like, I can finally understand what those TTs and grannies and mamas was saying when they just said just keep living, because it's some stuff that you just can't guide someone through, some stuff that you just can't. They have to just experience it, and they'll have to have that switch flip in their heads in order for them to see the light. But I brought that up because it's just so entitled for us to think that we have that option to just keep living. These kids were young children, babies. The pictures have been floating all around social media, and I don't even really want to think about that too much, because I didn't have my share of crying on this camera, and we're not doing that today whatsoever. But these are some babies, and I wouldn't be less sad if they were elderly. I wouldn't be less sad. Well, I won't say that. If they had had a more full life, I still would be sad. But, like, these were babies. They hadn't even had a chance to probably learn how to ride their bike without training wheels, or just started learning how to ride their bikes without training wheels. Like, they have so much that they have yet to experience, and it's such a privilege for us in the living in the world, although we may not feel like it at times because this world is just so crazy. It's such a privilege for us to be able to be here and have the time to, you know, correct and right our wrongs and make amends, forgive, and to love, try again, to fail and succeed. We have such a huge privilege, and I don't know that we always take full advantage of that privilege. And so for myself personally, of course, you know, I've had my health issues and things like that. I'm not going to keep bringing that up, but I just want to put that in perspective for people. Like, we are not promised tomorrow. And yes, we can say keep living, and you may learn things while you keep living, but you're not guaranteed to keep living. Some parents brought their kids to school to learn, and now they are burying their children. Some husband or some spouse, because I don't want to assume, some spouse kissed their spouse, their significant other, goodbye, and now they're not coming home ever again. Like, I cannot imagine the pain. There's so much stuff that happens in this world and we get desensitized to it sometimes, but there is something so I'm getting irritated. Don't get irritated. Something so profound and so eye-opening when someone maliciously and intentionally targets innocent children. When someone is selfish enough to use the lives of children who have not even gotten a chance at life yet to prove a point, to make a stance, to go down in history, to whatever the reason be. Something about that is just, it's disgusting. And I just want us to fight the feeling of desensitization. It's so easy to be desensitized when it comes to this, because the media pushes these images and they brush over these images so quickly. You know, we've gone through these things before, multiple times. And ultimately, there's been no real reform, no real stance against this type of crime. Some people don't want to live their life in fear, and I really respect that, because that's not what I want to do either. But I want to live my life prepared. And if I were to ever bring children into this world, I would want to be able to do so knowing that I'm safely sending them to a place that takes their life as seriously as I do. I saw a post on Twitter about saying that, like, someone said their wife is a teacher, and like she was explaining how the kindergartners that are sitting closer to the door are taught during drills to make commotion or be a sacrifice almost, so that the other kids that are farther away can get away. In the case of another school incident. And to me, it's just like, what? Why don't we have armed guards? Why don't we have metal detectors? Why don't we have, I don't know the solution, guys. I am not sitting here saying that I know the solutions, but I know that there are people who are paid well to provide our children, our youth, our future with safety as they grow about their day, learning, growing, and preparing themselves to be productive citizens in this world. And it's just scary to me how many times this continues to happen, and there is nothing firmly in place, minus drills that are questionable at best. It all just boils down to money, and it all just boils down to effort, and it all just boils down to time. And it's scary to me to see that the world we live in would rather sacrifice our future than to spend money on securing them. It makes me scared for myself, because if you don't care about babies, I know you don't care about me. Like, if you don't care about innocent kids, there's no way you can care about my grown. Hey, I don't know. I don't want to make this a sad video, but I just want to say, keep living in such a privilege. And to everybody out here who thinks they haven't figured out, understand that your elders do have knowledge. Understand that they do have experience, and it might not look exactly like what you're going through today, but they absolutely do know what they're talking about when they say just keep living. You'll see. Your mind will be evolved. You'll mature. You'll grow. The things that you thought never would happen to you, never could happen to you, might happen to you. And you'll have to make decisions based off that. It's so easy to judge someone's decisions and how they handle something when you're not there and you're not in it. It's so easy to say what you would do. You don't know until you're in that position. I've seen clips, not in person. I've seen clips of mothers running from dangerous situations, forgetting their children. Not because they're bad mothers, not because, but they're human instincts. It's so easy to watch that and be like, oh, I would never do that. The first thing I'm gonna do is grab my baby. But you are a human, you're a person, and you have reactives. You have reactions, you have reflexes. And you never know how something's gonna happen. You never know what you would do until you're in that situation. So please face the fact that these elderly people do know somewhat of what they're talking about. They do have knowledge for us, and even if it doesn't look exactly like how we're used to it looking, we can still take something from our older generation. Just pray for this country, pray for this world, honestly, because whether it's in America or anywhere else, this world is just a very dark and cruel place sometimes, but it also has a lot of light. And if you can be some light in someone's life and in their world, please be it, because we all need it. And you never know what someone else is going through. You never know.